The word preaching simply means to proclaim. And we're all proclaiming something. And what is it that we're proclaiming? And so preaching is different. It can have elements of teaching, it can have elements of storytelling, but preaching simply means I'm proclaiming something, I'm declaring, I'm getting something out. I used to always say, I love preaching, I just can't stand preparing. What I mean by that is that like preparing is where I get the most stressed and I get the most anxious. Preaching, it was always like, I loved getting to communicate, but I also know that the two go hand in hand. Like you can't love preaching and not love preparing, because if you want to have good preaching, you gotta have good preparation. So it's like you gotta learn how to love all of it. There's very few spaces in the world where someone's communicating publicly with brand new content every week. You know, some of the greatest comedians in the world that we love, I mean, they work a set for a year before they take it to the big place, and then they do it for 2 years, maybe 3 years, the same jokes everywhere. It's like, oh, that was so spontaneous. It's like, that wasn't spontaneous. It's actually rehearsed. That's actually, you have no idea how many times he said that joke. That's why it fits so perfectly. My practice, or how I put a sermon together, is I usually find a scripture text, and I usually just start making observations. And I just start usually writing down a lot of observations. A lot of the observations never get preached, but there's something in there, maybe a phrase or a word that awakens something in me. I'm like, yo, that's where we should talk about this. This is something that we all need to be landing on. From there, I think I try to find a question that we up front, and then I try to answer and usually give one big thought. I think I see the sermon, even if it has 9 points, as one big story, as a start, an introduction, you know what I mean? As a body, there's a climax somewhere in there, then there's like a resolution. So what I like to try to do up front is kind of typically maybe ask a question or pose an observation or pose a handle that we're all gonna go, yeah, like that's where I'm at. My Uber driver did something hilarious the other day.
You know, I kind of know Miami. I sort of know how the traffic works. I sort of know where the busy places are. And so we got in the Uber, and as we got in the Uber, we were heading down to the beach, and so we got on 195. I said, hey, sir, I said, take Alton Road. It's gonna be quicker.
He's like, bro, I'm telling you, there's traffic. I was like, dude, go my way. He didn't listen to me, he went his way. It took a little while, we got there, but I was like, man, I was like, yo, dude, like, go my way.
It was funny because we went to the event for probably just about 30 minutes. We popped in and then we left, and we got another Uber driver to take us home. I said, sir, please make sure that when you take me home, you take me Alton Road. He was like, absolutely, I'll take you Alton Road, let's go. Would you believe it took me an hour and a half to get home from the beach back to Biscayne Boulevard? Why? Because I wanted to go my way.
And I just think that's how God is all the time. We're always like, my way, my way. God's like, yo, trust me. I know it seems like my way is a little bit longer, but if you'll just go my way with this whole thing, you're going to get to your destination quicker. But if you try to go your way, it looks and appears like it's the short way, but it's going to be the long way. I think so often where people get mixed up as preachers is that they focus more on creativity than they do on clarity. And so my thought is that usually writer's block comes around in the areas of creativity, not being clear. When you don't know what to say, go back to what's already been said. You know what I mean? Like, the gospel is good. There's lots and lots of truth in it. And I think it's always better to be clear than it is to be creative. You want to always stay in a place where you're learning and going, all right, that worked there, and watching lots of different types of communication. So from politicians to storytellers to comedians, I want to try to see other preachers. I think there's always people you can learn from, and there's lots of different styles out there, and there's no one style that's the best style. I think how you connect with people is what ends up open up people's heart to you. And so I'm always interested in how do we get this message across, and how can we reshape that, redefine that. But then you also kind of get to a place where you're like, all right, I'm starting to know what my voice is and what my rhythm is and what works best for me. And I don't have to go and try to be this thing over here. You know what I mean? Like that isn't me. This is me. So landing there is a great thing as well.